Alright, so after many months of waiting, finally putting an exhaust on the D22. I've been waiting a while. I ordered this thing like in July and it only came like a week or 2 weeks ago. So finally got time to put it in. So what I ended up getting is a 3-inch PPD, as you can see here. I ended up going with the cat and the resonator because I didn't want it too loud. I just wanted something that would flow a little bit better, a little bit more noise, but also because I really wanted to get a remap. And the remap obviously requires the 3-inch exhaust, or it's recommended. So finally I can order that as well. But yeah, so here's the exhaust, PPD, 3-inch stainless. Costs about $700, I think it was. So it wasn't exactly cheap. There's heaps of cheaper stuff on the market, but I've seen a lot of stuff cracking. Your best bet is to go to an exhaust shop and actually get one done. But this is what I ended up getting. And yeah, so today I'm just gonna whack it on. There's a lot of problems that people come across, like the studs being too long, and then you can't take the dump off because it's hitting the firewall. But I'm gonna go through my experiences of doing it, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So all I've done right now, I just took the heat shield off, just like, I don't know, 5 or 6 bolts. And there's a couple ways of doing it. It seems like people either leave the turbo on, struggle a lot more, and somehow bash the firewall in, or jack the gearbox up to tilt it a bit, the engine a bit forward to take the dump out, or they take the studs out while the turbo's still in, but then they can, they're prone to snapping off, and then you got to deal with all that shit. So I think what I'm gonna do is just take the turbo off. This car has done like nearly 230,000 Ks, so I did want to check the turbo anyways. So I guess it's probably a good time to do it now. So that's the way I'm going to be doing it. So I'm going to be taking the turbo off, and then refitting the new dump while the turbo's out, and then putting it back in, and then I'll put the new studs in as well, which is shorter. So if I ever had to take it off again for some reason, don't have to take the turbo off. So I'm just going to give it a go. I'm learning with you guys, so we'll see what happens. So finally, we're getting the turbo out. We undid the oil feed from the top and the oil drain from the bottom. And then we've left the cat on, and we've just done this 3 bolts down there connected to the other bit of the exhaust. So the cat's on, the dump's still on. Obviously just took this intake pipe off, and basically airbox is out just to make a bit of room, and then we just pull the whole thing out. That's not light. There you go. And there's my turbo. Huh? So we're gonna put the new turbo on.
Yeah, we wish. From Hypergear.
So yeah, that's the stock turbo that we had. And there's actually no shaft play, which is good, but you can see where people are complaining about, because the top 3 studs are really short, and then it comes to the 2 bottom studs and they're super long, so it actually hits the firewall when you try to take the dump off. So I'm pretty sure there's new studs in the kit, so we're gonna put those on just so we don't have to take the turbo off again. But it actually came out surprisingly pretty easy. So bit of a messy job, but it's all out now, and then new stuff to go back on. So in terms of getting the studs out of the turbo, I know a couple of people do like a double nut method where they put 2 nuts on and then wind one of them, but I actually had a vise here, so I thought, I heard about somebody else doing this. They just put the stud in the vise, and I just WD'd the studs a little bit and let them sit for a while, but I'm just literally put the stud in the vise, and I'm just turn the turbo so it can be wound out. And then literally after it gets a bit loose, I just been using a pair of vice grips, just gripping onto there and just twisting it out. And so far I've got one of the long ones out. I'm getting the other long one out now, and I also probably am just going to take the other 3 out. So I've just wound the new studs in. They all went in pretty good. They all came out. The old ones came out really easy. Ended up just cleaning up the turbo a little bit. Did just have some oil muck, but then again, it is like 17 years old. Yeah, so in the shaft, yeah, there's a lot of carbon buildup because, it's a diesel. But the shaft actually spins really freely. It doesn't have any play, which is good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to buy a new seal oil drain gasket for the turbo, just because the old one when I was taking the turbo off, half of it cracked, so that wasn't too good. And I don't want to do all this and then have oil leak from the turbo and have to pull it off again. It's going to be a shit show. So I'm going to go buy one of those for the oil drain, and then obviously I've got the rest of the exhaust pieces here. I'm going to fit the dump on before I put the turbo in the car, and then obviously I'll just go back from there, just dummy fit everything basically, just to see how everything lines up, because taking the old one off, it actually was quite tight in there, and that's like what, 2.25 inch exhaust, then you're putting a 3-inch exhaust, so there was already not a lot of room. Now there's going to be a lot less room, but obviously it's going to be worth it. I've come this far, so now I just got to whack everything back together, and then we'll go from there. I'll probably update you when I've put the turbo in, and yeah, all good. So basically what we ended up doing was that we bolted the dump on the back already, tying that all up, and then we bolted the up pipe or the down pipe, whatever you want to call it, that goes below, that connects to the cat. Basically I lost the gasket here, that's why there's a heap of gasket gear. We did cut a gasket out and put it on. There is one that comes with the kit, I just lost it because I'm an idiot. But yeah, the turbo's all good, it's all going on now. We'll bolt everything back in, put all the, I did the oil line for the return oil line, the drain, and then we'll put the feed back on, hook up all the other bolts and stuff, and then we'll whack it back in the car. So we're just going to start it up just for shits and giggles, just with the downpipe in. Through a quick bit of the final bit of the exhaust, put the heat shield back on, but basically just off the turbo, goes straight to the downpipe with no cat, and if we go underneath, so just off the downpipe, comes straight down, then goes into the flexi, and from the flexi goes into the resonator, and then just dumps straight out the back. So that's the whole thing. Get your exhaust mounts up there. This was a massive problem because it didn't fit, so I ended up just cable tying this exhaust mount, and then same thing here. I just used the mount off the gearbox and just clamped it there so it held everything up. So the exhaust was a bit of an interesting one, to say the least. Basically, you would have seen at the start of the video that set I bought it with a cat on purpose, which was $100 more than what it would have been. But when we were fitting it up, the cat didn't actually fit the pipe with the cat in it. It just wouldn't fit up at all, wouldn't line up with anything. Ended up just getting rid of it, and then just fitting after the downpipe, just putting the flexi, and after flexi putting the resonator, then putting the end piece, and that seemed to work pretty well. Other problem I had, which you would have seen, was that middle exhaust hanger. Basically, it didn't line up with anything. There were a couple more things in the kit that they gave, but nothing actually fit up with where it needed to go. So I don't really know what was the go with that. Was kind of over it at the time, a bit annoyed. You know, you pay $700, you think it's going to be good, but I guess that's what you get from not getting it made in an exhaust shop and going a bit of a cheaper route. But at the end of the day, we put it together. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll throw some exhaust clips in as well, but I think it sounds pretty good. And then also it allowed me to get my remap, which is awesome, so cheers to Jamie for that. If you jump on any of the pages, you'll find the ECU remap for the D22 ZD30, and I think he does one for a YD25 now as well. But the remap made it feel so much better with the exhaust sound. It really made it like a new car. So I'll throw in the clips now and hope you enjoyed it.